A win for the Vancouver Canucks here against the Edmonton Oilers on March 13th, and that was a hard-fought 2-1 victory from the home team here tonight. Thatcher Demko once again in net, his fifth straight start for the Vancouver Canucks against Mikko Koskinen, and Demko's been elite recently, and Koskinen had his work cut out for him, and he was also great tonight. Lineup changes for the Vancouver Canucks. Brandon Sutter was in. Both Jay Beagle and Roussel were out. After practice yesterday, we weren't sure who was going to be in for the Vancouver Canucks, but Sutter came in, so Zach McEwen and Louis Eriksson slotted in to take Beagle and Roussel's place. In the first period, first minute, Bo Horvat with an excellent block on a point shot early on. The Canucks shot blocking was excellent. We'll get to that in the pluses and minuses, of course. About 7 minutes into the first period, Tanner Pearson had a sharp angle shot. That goes off of a skate in front of the net. I think it was Virtanen's skate, and then it veers, takes a turn, and hits the post, and we stay tied at 0. Connor McDavid tries to go for a bank shot, tries to bank it off of Thatcher Demko's back. That gets stopped. Rebounds in front of the net. Those get stopped as well. And the Canucks, again, keeping it tied. About 5 minutes to go in the first period, Nate Schmidt took a block, another block shot from the Canucks, and he was hurt on this one, but he did return on the next shift, so that was good to see. And then with 4 minutes to go, the best chance for Edmonton in the first period, Leon Draisaitl, Jesse Puljujarvi in on a 2-on-1, and Quinn Hughes, perfect positional play. He's able to close the feet, does a good old V on the feet, is able to stop that puck from getting through. Keeps this game tied. So after the first period, shots are 13-4 for the Oilers, but the Canucks have kept it tied at 0-0. Absolutely dominant first period from the Oilers. Very few chances from the Canucks. But again, one of those things where period's over, doesn't matter how many shots each team has if the game is still tied. But Edmonton came out hot in the second period to start. Draisaitl and Connor McDavid come in on a 2-on-1 only 15 seconds into the period. And again, Nate Schmidt slides, breaks up this pass perfectly. Another odd man rush that back in February, this is what was killing the Canucks. Odd man rushes that the other teams would have, and they would come in and get easy chances and high danger chances. But Nate Schmidt breaking this pass up again, keeping it even. Canucks go to the power play about 2 minutes into the period. Jesse Puljujarvi takes a slashing penalty on Travis Hamonic. This was a pretty weak call, in my opinion. There was quite a few weak calls in this game. This was the first one on Edmonton. About a minute into this penalty, the best chance for the Canucks, JT Miller with a one-timer, catches the outside of the post, can't capitalize. That gets killed off. And JT Miller had 2 plays where he tried to force a pass. And this is something I've been trying to criticize for a while, is that extra pass where it's usually Miller trying to force it through cross ice to the other side of the ice, and it usually gets broken up and ends up going, getting cleared at least, but sometimes going the other way. And that happened twice on that penalty kill. Niels Höglander takes a penalty about 9 minutes into the second period on Ethan Bear. Again, this was also a pretty weak call. Sort of got underneath him with the arm, and it was kind of iffy. Pretty similar to that Puljujarvi call being iffy as well. A Connor McDavid chance, about a minute into that, best chance for the Oilers. One-timer, absolute rocket from Connor McDavid, hits the post. Again, this one is killed off. Now, 8 minutes to go in the second period. Tyler Ennis takes a tripping call on Brandon Sutter. Stick gets caught in the skates in front of the Edmonton net. Pretty normal call. That's going to get called almost every time. So we go into this power play. And the ugliest goal I've ever seen gets scored here. JT Miller's shot is stopped. The puck is loose somewhere. The ref keeps yelling it's loose. Ethan Bear is basically sitting on the puck. The ref's like, it's loose, it's loose. I think Brock Besser is yelling, penalty shot. He's covering it, penalty shot. And the ref's like, it's still loose. And everyone's just smacking at the puck. No, like from the angle we had no idea what was going on. And then randomly the ref's like, it's in. Because Bo Horvat eventually got enough of it. And it just slides just inside the post. And from the overhead view, the puck was definitely loose the whole time. And Thomas Durant's had a good, because he's obviously in arena, he could hear. And basically a bunch of the players yelling at the refs, swearing at the refs, saying, are you effing kidding me, you effing idiot. But, I mean, if you think the call is that bad and you think it was goalie interference, why didn't you challenge it? Clearly it wasn't a bad call. Most of the people in the way of Koskinen were Edmonton players to begin with. So that goal does stand, not challenged at all. 1-0 Vancouver here about halfway through the second period. Now JT Miller takes a penalty with about 5 minutes to go in the second period. Miller lost his stick. Had done a nice battle on the boards, ended up kicking it down below, I think back to Jordy Ben or to someone behind the net without his stick. But then he sort of stepped in and hip checked Tyler Ennis away from the puck. Pretty textbook interference call. So Edmonton has a chance to tie this game. Now, pretty good penalty kill from the Canucks here, keeping everything outside, but then Alex Edler takes a cross-checking penalty in front of the net. This is one of those ones that happens probably 10 times a game, but this one was pretty blatant, right in the numbers, right in the back. In my opinion, these should get called every time, but they rarely do for some reason. So Edmonton gets a 5-on-3 power play for 23 seconds. The first one gets killed off, but the Canucks just can't clear the zone. And this has been what has plagued the Canucks all season, is just failing to get the puck over the blue line. Just get it out of the zone. That's something that they have struggled with for a long time, and they struggled with it here. Leon Draisaitl with a one-timer rips it by Demko. Hamonic had a broken stick as well, so it kind of was a 5-on-3 effectively again. So Draisaitl had a ton of space. Hamonic couldn't really get in the way of the shot, couldn't get his stick in the lane. Shot from Draisaitl beats Demko. We're tied at 1 with about 4 or 5 minutes to go in the second period. Canucks get a chance with about 2.5 minutes to go in the second period. Quinn Hughes had a good shot. That got tipped on net. Koskinen with a big save there to keep it tied. And then in the dying seconds of the second period, Puljujarvi gets a rebound, and it looks like he's got a wide open net. He's sort of on the left-hand side, and he turns and he shoots it. And Demko just sprawls out with the pad, robs Puljujarvi, keeps the game tied at the end of 2. Shots in the second period, 13-10 for Vancouver. So they had gone from being outshot 13-4 in the first to outshooting the Oilers in the second period, making the total 23-19 at that point for Edmonton. So we go to the third period. We're even. Edmonton has probably been the better team thus far, but the Canucks had a great second period in comparison to their first, at least. Darnell Nurse has a shot off the post about 30 seconds in. Again, another chance for them to take the lead here. About 4 minutes into the second period, Jake Virtanen got a sort of a cross-check to the numbers from Darnell Nurse behind the net. Looked like he was slow to get up, mainly focused on the groin area, it seemed like. He went to the bench, but he did return, didn't miss a shift, so that's good to see. 8 minutes into the second period, 11:40 on the clock, and a prime chance for Tanner Pearson. Horvat feeds him in the face-off circle. He's got all the time in the world. And this is one of those plays where if you're an elite shooter, if you put Brock Besser there, if you put Austin Matthews there, if you put, I don't know, pick one player from every team, and there's a player that will score on this shot every time. And good save from Koskinen, but just not an excellent scoring shot, or not an excellent scoring chance from Pearson. Just not an elite shot there. A blocker save from Koskinen again keeps this game tied at 1. But just a minute later, Tyler Myers has an excellent shift. He makes a couple of great plays skating into the zone. Basically takes it from his own blue line, dipsy doodles all the way into the zone, gets possession, gets a zone entry, has the Canucks set up in the offensive zone. I'm going to get this looking better. There we go. Gets the Canucks set up in the offensive zone, and the puck comes to him, skates into the face-off circle from the point, and just a rocket. Fires at far post. Looks like Koskinen just had trouble picking it up. Just an absolute rocket. And the Canucks are on top 2-1. So the Canucks now have to go into shutdown mode and try to keep Edmonton out for the next 10.5 minutes here. Edmonton comes out the next shift flying. Excellent response shift. They spend about 1.5 minutes in the Canucks zone, but they can't beat Thatcher Demko. And this was sort of the story for the next few minutes. The Canucks just kept Edmonton to the outside. Demko was perfect, and Canucks retained their lead. 5.5 to go in the third period. Alex Edler shot from the point, and a rebound lands right in front of Niels Höglander, and the net's wide open, but he can't settle the puck down. Can't make it 3-1. So we're still a 1-goal game. 3 minutes to go. McDavid with a chance, and Demko, perfect position. Rebound goes to Nugent Hopkins, and again, Demko's getting his chest perfectly square to the shooter so often in this game, where he just gets in front, has the chest square, and there's nowhere to shoot for these shooters. So 2 great saves there. 2.5 minutes to go. Tanner Pearson takes a penalty here. Gets called for hooking on Barrie. Gets the stick under the arm. So the Canucks go to the kill. Another penalty is then completely missed. Brandon Sutter sort of gets the can opener in on Connor McDavid. sort of a game management, letting that one go. I guess refs might be thinking, well, they're already shorthanded, up one with 2 minutes left. We're not going to call it. Again, I'm always an advocate for call the rules by the rule book 24/7. I don't care about what the score is. I don't care about who's winning. Call the rules by the rule book, but that's not how it works in the NHL. Not how it works in any sport, to be fair. So Edmonton pulls the goalie. Koskinen goes to the bench with about 1:50 to go in the third period. Demko makes 2 strong saves right after that, gets a whistle. A minute to go. Edmonton's still trying to answer. Again, perfect positioning starts from Demko. McDavid's shot. Demko's right there. Rebound goes to Draisaitl over on the near side face-off circle, and Demko again gets that chest square perfectly to the shooter, and that shot hits him right in the logo. Perfect stops from Demko. So Canucks still up 1. 25 seconds to go in the third period. An absolute mad scramble in front of the net. Puck comes free to someone on the wing. Not sure exactly who it was, but he makes a quick pass. It might have been Nugent Hopkins, but he makes a quick pass over to Draisaitl, who's in the slot by himself. Demko's still sort of out of the net. Draisaitl seemingly has an open net, but Alex Edler with an outstanding block, basically at the top of the crease, playing backup goalie. Beautiful play from Alex Edler. Penalty gets killed off. Connor McDavid has one chance to tie it with about 5 seconds left, also blocked, and that's the ball game. So the Canucks hold on to win this game 2-1. Total shots 35-28 for Edmonton, 12-9 in the third period. On to the pluses and the minuses for this game. The first plus is the battle back. Again, like I mentioned, Edmonton outshot the Canucks 13-4 in the first period, but then the Canucks outshot Edmonton in the second. They got outshot by 3 shots in the third period, much more even, and again, most of those shots came with the goalie pulled at the end, so nothing too worrying there. I just really like the resilience. Again, Demko holding them in it, keeping it a tie game while getting sort of peppered here by the Edmonton Oilers and keeping that even. Tyler Myers, rocket of a goal, and his defensive play was pretty good. He had some good shot blocks. I thought Tyler Myers had a good game. Shot blocking was a big plus. Lots of blocked shots for the Canucks, just getting in shooting lanes, preventing those chances. Again, that Edler one that's probably saved the game. I bet you if that game went to overtime, I don't think the Canucks were winning it. But lots of shot blocks for the Canucks, just keeping everything outside and keeping things from getting to Thatcher Demko. Some other pluses not related to the game. Film analysis returns tomorrow. Had a lot of requests to bring that one back. And of course, I wanted to, just with the move, it's been tricky. But tomorrow I will be putting a film analysis together for this game. Another plus, being able to skip commercials. I didn't start watching this game until like 8 o'clock. Skipped the commercials all the way up till about halfway through the third, which was sweet. And daylight savings tonight, which means the days get an hour longer, and I'm fired up about that. Always a good thing. On to the minuses. Clearing the puck, again, an issue. The Canucks have had this problem all year long where they've had chances to clear the puck, they've failed to clear the puck, and scoring chances result the other way from them, and that's what happened with Edmonton's lone goal in this game as well. Not a lot of high-danger chances, it felt like, in this game. Obviously, there was a couple for Edmonton, especially late, but the first 2 periods were pretty low danger, in my opinion. Giveaways. And I was just on the NHL.com sort of game center page for this game, looking at some stats. I'm like, what else can I put in this segment here? And I noticed the giveaways stat. The giveaways, at least when I looked at them with about 2 minutes left in the game, were 10-1 for Vancouver, which means Vancouver gave the puck away 10 times and only took the puck back once. That's not a good stat. So that's sort of our big minus for this one. Now, before we get to the game pucks, where we give away a game puck to one player on either team, the best player from each team, we're 31 subs away from 1,000. So if you're new here, hit subscribe. And I've got links to Discord, Twitter, and Twitch down there. I might start streaming in the next couple of weeks here, so go follow my Twitch if you're interested in that. Game pucks for this one. For the Canucks, Thatcher Demko. The 3rd time in a row I am giving this game puck to Thatcher Demko. And he's great. I mean, he stops 34 of 35. His positioning was so good, and that's something we'll go over in film analysis tomorrow. Demko has just been a real bright spot on this season. I think there's been really 3 bright spots for the Canucks this year, and that's Demko, Besser, and Höglander have all been super bright spots for the Canucks. And for Edmonton, we'll give it also to their goaltender, Mikko Koskinen. I think he had a solid game. You think of the 2 goals he allowed. The first one was just a mess in front where he had basically an Edmonton player sitting on him the whole time. Can't really blame him for that one. And then the second one, he just didn't see the puck. Maybe he should have saved it, but again, if there's one goal you should have saved in a game, you can't complain too much. Anyways, that's all I've got in this one. Film analysis probably around noon to 1 o'clock tomorrow, so make sure you're subscribed, have your notifications turned on for that. And that's all I've got. I will talk to you guys tomorrow.